First is, unfortunately, T-BARTA was canceled because we didn't have a quorum. I'm not sure if it was because the meeting was over in Manatee, and certain persons may not have wanted to drive that far, but the meeting was canceled, so we will hopefully take up any action items at our next meeting, at our meeting next month. I attended the PSTA Planning Committee meeting, of which I serve on, and Barry, we did have a real robust discussion at that time regarding just what support and funding looks like when it's coming from the county. We talked about Clearwater's request for their boat system to run up and down the coast on that side of town, and how much it may possibly take to be able to have that system start back up and running. And so some of that information will be presented at our overall general PSTA meeting from the planning committee, because it certainly involves the finance committee and other components of it. So we'll hopefully have some updated information on that. Some of you may have seen the email from Stephen Carey from Congressman Charlie Crist's team, but because of the federal budget moving on a continuing resolution, those special projects are on hold until some decisions are made about additional funding. So I know we had several projects that were being requested, and I know that Brian Lowak was kind of serving as the intermediary on that. So I don't know if you all would want to have some type of presentation updating us on where that is, so that we could look at that list, and if there's something that we can go ahead and move forward with based on what we have, determine if we're going to do that, or if we're going to continue to wait to see what happens with the continuing resolution. I don't know what the your desire would be, but just putting that out there for additional information. The Affordable Housing Conference that's scheduled for February 10th, 11th, and 12th that I've been working on is going very, very well. I'm so excited about having the Deputy Assistant Secretary from the U.S. Department of HUD as our keynote speaker. So everything is moving forward on that. We finalized all of the sessions and panelists that will be serving, so I look forward to that. It will not be live streamed, and it will not be available on Facebook or YouTube. I think that's not fair for the people that are paying for the registration then to make it not a fee available to persons in the public. But I have contracted with someone who will be recording those sessions, and that will be available after the fact. So if anyone asks you about that, we are full at 153 registered participants, and that's about the max it can take based on COVID restrictions and making sure that everybody is safe. So we're full. So I'm happy to talk about that. The last thing that I wanted to just make a comment on is that I am grateful for the residents voting to support the Penny for Pinellas funding source that goes towards a number of things, not just affordable housing. But I'm very glad to hear that it does go towards that, because companies like Blue Sky Communities, who's only been around for about 9 years, but I think is doing a wonderful job in building apartment units that are affordable, and encouraging other developers to do so as well. 3 different apartment projects have opened up along US 19 after 38th Avenue South, and most of those are market rate. One of them is already full, open and full. And so I had a conversation with someone the other day saying, who's able to afford that $2,500 to $3,000 a month for rent for those? And we know that it certainly is not some of the people who even work as employees here in the county. So I am thankful that that decision was made prior to my arrival to have those funds set aside so that persons who want to build and include affordable units, persons like Habitat for Humanity, Pinellas and West Pasco, other developers who've stepped up and are wanting to build affordable. I'm grateful for that. Eckerd College's president has partnered also with some of the developers, and he's worked out arrangements to have a certain number of units that they're building so that his students can actually be able to rent, because he's out of room on campus for housing, for residential housing. The same for the University of South Florida, St. Pete campus. So it's more than just persons who we look at 80% and below AMI. It's those firefighters, it's those teachers, it's police officers, it's all of the people that we say we hold to a standard of excellence and that we support them 100%. But we've got to also be willing to support the fact that they can remain in the city or the county in which they work. So I want to thank you all for having done that. And the last thing is, I'm going through the Florida Association of Counties ICC program, and I had a chance to attend our last session in Gainesville, and I tell you, it has really been an eye-opener.